This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
What's up, everybody? I'm back for another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is former NFL player Ronnie Brown. Ronnie, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. How about yourself?
It's going good. I appreciate you coming on. I know we've been playing a little phone tag, but, finally got you on, so I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to be on here. I appreciate you for having me.
Before we go into your NFL career, what has Ronnie Brown been up to nowadays after retirement?
So since retiring, man, when I first got done, I started chasing the little golf ball for a while. Really enjoyed that. It's one of my favorite things to do now. Not that I'm very good at it, but I just like it. But then outside of that, I started doing some freelance work. I worked with the radio broadcast crew down at Auburn on the weekends, doing some radio stuff, kind of staying close and being able to mentor a lot of the young guys and keep me close to the program. And then outside of that, I'm working as a financial professional now. So I went and got licensed and registered and, working as a financial advisor now.
How'd you get into that, financial advisor?
Well, I was interested in, as I kind of got out of college, I was a communications graduate, thought I wanted to go into, the broadcasting field, but I think it was just more so that was familiar territory. But as I kind of navigated my way through my career, through injuries and through different things and seeing, things change, I was interested in the business side. And so in seeing that, I just felt like, I wanted to do something, one, to educate myself, but then two, as I got older, just kind of looking at, where I was and how far I'd come just in terms of knowledge wise and, understanding of the business and, seeing a lot of young guys come in that reminded me of myself. I wanted to have an impact. So when I retired, I was trying to figure out the best way to be able to assist a lot of these individuals and make a difference. And, I feel like that's the challenging area for a lot of people. You look at the statistics of, 78% of NFL players, either go broke or have some kind of financial difficulties within 3 years of being retired or out of the NFL. And then I think it's 60% of NBA guys within 5 years. So when you look at the statistical numbers, it doesn't typically make sense to the public. But for me, going through it and understanding and not really coming out of a situation where I was, as financial literate as I would have liked to have been, I felt like this is a great opportunity to come in and help a lot of these individuals and understand the importance of what wealth building is and accumulating wealth and, being able to transfer that wealth to generations. So, I just kind of embarked on that journey. I was fortunate enough. I was around a few individuals while I was in Miami, and we opened up a community bank. And so that was a start, and that was the catalyst for me trying to learn and get the information.
Yeah. Are you working with NFL guys right now?
So I have a few guys that we work with, have a couple NBA guys on a team. We work with a current golfer as well. But just, I think doing that. And then we also work with non-athletes. So, my goal is realizing that since I've retired, but, as I continue to go and progress each level, there was a lot of people that assisted me in this process, whether it's coaches, teachers, or, very influential people that I've come across. So just in knowing that everybody who has some type of success story has had individuals in their lives that have helped, to get to that point. So, it's my goal and my obligation. I just feel, dedicated. I want to give back to people like, some of the people gave to me. And so, being in this field, I think it's rewarding to see people get that financial comfort, and knowing to have us to plan and then, to see the plan come, into work and to envision that plan, and kind of strategically keep working at and building, I think there's a great feeling of comfort in that. And then so, I just kind of been excited about it. I love doing it. It's a great opportunity for me to meet a lot of new people. It's something that I enjoy. So it just, it's become a passion. And, I think I finally found my purpose. I enjoy playing sports, but, I think when you look at life, it's more about how can you help other people.
Yeah. Going to the finance, another finance question. Like, I know you're drafted number 2 overall pick. So when you were coming out of college, was there like a lot of people like coming after you trying to like either be your financial advisor or like trying to get you to invest money into random startups and stuff like that?
Yeah. And so, when I looked at that, that was part of, the interest in it, because I had no idea, like, one, how to choose a lot of these professionals to work with, whether it was financial or agents. But then as navigating through those waters, you just kind of realize how much you don't know, and how ill-equipped I was to be in that position, financially. Like, so many people see, oh, man, you made it and you get this amount of money. But you think of guys coming out of situations who've never been in familiar territory, to get that lump sum of money, but then, come out of, financially challenged situations growing up and upbringing, that presents a burden, because, you want to help everyone, but then you still have to get acclimated, get adjusted to, your new lifestyle. Then you're trying to get acclimated to a new city, and then you have people coming in, and there's, some people good, some are bad, but so many opportunities arise, and, it's just so much that happens at one time that a lot of people don't understand. And so it's not like building a business where it's a gradual success, or you work, 30 years for a company, and then you start getting a salary, and then now you've made your way up the ladder. And so it's just a little different. So trying to really get individuals to understand that, and even, the guys in those situations, like, man, listen, you can't fix the problem that you've incurred, like, throughout your lifespan all in 1 year. So, coming up with a strategic plan is really important. And that's anyone, whether you're business or an athlete or non-athlete. Like, I think the same mentality is, I think trying to create generational wealth, but, you have to have a plan. And I don't care how much money you have. If you're Bill Gates, he still has a financial plan that he works, and, he has a allotted amount of money that he wants to spend every year, and he budgets, I'm sure, and gives away a certain amount. So you still have to have a plan. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You just have to, have a plan.
Yeah, and I think that's why, also going back to when you said, like, athlete or non, I feel like that's why companies are always looking to hire athletes, because, like, motivation got them through sports and stuff like that. And then, I'm guessing, I pretty much know, I think that it's probably crazier now with social media, with guys getting reached out to by random people, and versus when you got drafted in 2005.
Right. And it's just, because you're so accessible.
Yeah.
Whether social media, you're always available, and we walk around with these mini computers, and, we always have access to what's going on in the world. And, you have Google that you can go find out stuff, but then, just, being able to get in contact with people, there's so many ways to do that, keep an eye out, see what's going on in a lot of people's lives. So, you're constantly exposed to, people, and, you have access to other people. So, that is something you have to deal with, and trying to navigate that piece of it. I think individuals have to learn that as well.
Yeah. What's your take on, like, you played kind of, I'd say, like, during the early part of the social media age, and now it's like, I wouldn't even say it's at its peak yet, because I think it's still growing. Like, do you think you'd rather be, like, at the start, or, like, right now, like, when it's grown even more?
Well, I think it's, when you go through the maturation process, like, obviously I've learned a lot more since, I was playing. But to go back, I mean, I think these guys are a little bit more aware, because I don't know if it's the concussion situation, or, if you look across the professional sports, guys seem to be retiring a little bit earlier with their health. And, so I think it's a little bit more conscious of what they want to do. So, I think it's good, and the money's, going up. So, I think there are positives to that. But then also, for me, just being who I am, I just feel that, my timing was when my timing was supposed to. And, I feel like everything's supposed to happen, always does. And so you just kind of have to just roll with the punches. And, now I feel obligated to be able to help a lot of these younger guys not hit the same hurdles that I hit.
Yeah. Now, going back to your football days, what got you involved in football when you were young?
I had an older brother. I have an older brother who was very, like, sports involved. He was involved in sports. And so he was a baseball player, he played football. He wrestled. So he was really active. And then, so for me, I was always interested, just growing up and being around it. I became interested in it, and, it became my passion. And ultimately, for like many other individuals, it became my escape, to get away from, the normal reality, the pressures of what you're dealing with. And you just get to go on that football field and, have the relaxation of being in the game, and just the pure joy of being, able to play with your buddies and have fun.
Yeah. What was your recruiting process like out of high school?
It was great. I grew up a Georgia fan because I'm from Georgia. So, just looking at that, I didn't think about, honestly, I wasn't thinking as a sophomore, I want to get a scholarship and go to this school or this school. I just liked Georgia. But, I didn't know that it'd be scholarship related, whether it was football or whatever. So just in going through all of that, man, just enjoying football in the process, and baseball was my favorite sport growing up, actually. But, just the path that was laid out for me, it worked out. I had a fairly decent career in high school and, got a few scholarship offers, and, I wasn't recruited heavily by Georgia early, and then started getting a little bit more. But by that time, I was feeling, pretty comfortable with Auburn and Tennessee, and I actually committed to Tennessee and ended up changing my mind and going down to Auburn because I just felt it was the best fit for me being from a small town. And so it worked out, and, I just feel like that was the path that was chosen for me.
And what was your overall experience like at Auburn? I know you had an amazing career there.
It was great. It was challenging. I got in, I was being recruited, and obviously when you get recruited, you see the best of the best when you tour and go to these different schools. But, I think for me, I got there, and then we had a guy by the name of Rudy Johnson who came from junior college, who was a heck of an athlete. So led the SEC rushing in his first year there, went on to play professionally. And then the next season, I had Cadillac Williams come in. So, it was a lot of adversity, but, it was worth it in the end. It made me stronger as an individual, made me a better teammate, and it just made me a better person. So, I wouldn't change any of those experiences for anything, because I feel like that's a part of my story, and that's what made me, who I am, and I view life the ways I do.
Yeah. Would you say you and Cadillac were one of the best duos ever?
I think that's depending on who you're asking. For me, I feel like we had a pretty good career. I think we complemented each other really well. But I wouldn't say, hey, yeah, we're the best duo ever. I just feel like we did what we were supposed to do. We enjoyed each other's company. We were great teammates, and we had fairly successful college careers. And
yeah, the year 2004 was when you guys went 13-0, and you didn't get picked for the national championship. So what was your feelings then, and then what's your feeling now that they had the playoff?
I feel like we played a part in that. It was unfortunate because to go undefeated in this conference is tough enough. But in doing that and not getting that opportunity, I think that's where, the playoff system kind of evolved from, like having that experience. So, I hate that we didn't get a chance to play for the national championship, but I think something good came out of it. And I don't think that situation will ever occur again, where you see a team, representing the SEC go undefeated and not, get a shot to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's where today might have helped you more with the more media exposure.
Right. So, I think, we had to, we were the first one over the hill. So, we had to take all the shots, I guess. Hopefully that's, not a bad saying, but, I think, we kind of helped aid in the process.
Yeah. And what was like the moment when you were at Auburn that like you knew or thought you could go to the NFL?
Really, I think there's always been a lifelong dream to be an NFL player. But to get that close, my junior year, I had, a couple seasons where I did decent. I knew there was an opportunity. I didn't know, what it would look like, but, I think just getting the opportunity to be in there. So it got closer, and then, I didn't know what draft I wasn't thinking about. I just want to get drafted and get the opportunity. I wasn't thinking, everyone wants to be drafted in the first round, but, at the same time, the likelihood it's really difficult. So, after my senior year, I started to realize a little bit more that, just through hearing the media and just kind of continuing to, have the career, it became a possibility.
Yeah, and what was it like just going to like the combine and then training for the draft, and then like what was it like just like hearing about where you're going to get drafted, who might draft you, stuff like that?
It was exciting. For me, it was all about getting closer to that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end of the day, we're not all going to get drafted in the first round. We're not all going to, get an opportunity. So for me, it was just, I just appreciate this opportunity that I have. And so each step, was a day that I embraced, and as an opportunity to get one step closer to fulfilling that dream. And, when I was working out, I approached it that way. And then going to the combine and even being a part of that, it was an opportunity to display, that comfort that I had felt because of all the preparation. And so, it was a great opportunity for me. And I was like, I wasn't really the number one guy. I wasn't the best running back coming out, I don't think, in terms of, the notoriety, but I felt comfortable what I could do. And I always worked hard, and, I felt comfortable in giving everything that I had. So, whatever happened would happen.
Yeah, you're just too you're just too humble on yourself. And then what was draft day like?
It was amazing. I got an invitation. I was nervous. I didn't want to go to New York early on, but it was a great opportunity, and decided to go up to New York. And it was great to see my family and the people that experienced that day with me. It was really important. And I just enjoyed it. Never did I think that I'd be the second pick in an NFL draft. A little kid out of a small town going to Auburn, mm-hmm. and then have that experience. So, it was somewhat surreal even now as I look back on it, but at the same time, I'm very appreciative and grateful. So it was just great, to be there and see my family share that moment with me. It was pretty big.
Did you know the Dolphins were going to pick you, or did you know what teams were trying to get you?
I did it. In going into it, I was looking. I thought that after Alex Smith got drafted, I was looking at Braylon Edwards. I was thinking that he'd probably get drafted next, and then I don't know what would happen, but I didn't think I'd go to somewhere like Miami. I was like, maybe I'll end up somewhere cold and somewhere that none of us really want to go. But at the same time, the opportunity, it was like I just get the opportunity to play in the NFL, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah, and even though you just said you didn't think you were one of the best running backs, you were the first running back picked and as the second pick. And yeah, what was that like going down to Miami and playing for the Dolphins?
Well, it was great, for me, because I was saying that because I was never really considered the starting running back. So
okay.
I didn't get the bulk of the carries, but, Carnell and Cadillac and we had a great working relationship in terms of, playing together and complement each other. So it was a great experience. So to get to Miami, it was great. The weather was great. It's a great city. Everybody mm-hmm. wants to go to. So, that was a huge part of it. But then luckily, going to a city and a team where I had some veteran leadership that kind of showed me the way, that was good. So it worked out, the way that it should have. And, being in Miami, I enjoyed the city, I enjoyed the people, I enjoyed the community. I enjoyed being a part of that, and being a part of, going into and trying to give back, like I was saying, to the community. I just kind of embraced the whole part of it and was just understanding that it was really, a blessing to even get that opportunity.
Yeah, and I think I want to say that you and Cadillac Williams are probably had to be the highest two running backs that were on the same team ever, because I don't think there was ever two running backs in the same school, that were drafted top 5. So
yeah, which is cool about that too, because he and I grew closer, through our relationship and our experiences and even similar backgrounds in terms of what happens away from the football field. So we got pretty close, and so we still have a close relationship now. So, that's the cool part about sports. I enjoyed the game. I loved the game and the opportunities that it awarded me, but the people that I met along the way, that was the special piece of it. I don't miss the game now, but I miss being in the locker room, joking with those guys that I've met, us going through workouts, us pushing ourselves, beyond the limits of what we thought we could get through, and then, overcoming and being in games together and the challenges that presented and winning and going through the defeats and being able to, console each other. I think that's what makes sports special.
Yeah, it's definitely a common theme when I interview former athletes. They always say that, or what they'll miss the most, and everyone always says the camaraderie and all that.
Yeah, and that's the big part about it. That's what guys miss, I think.
Yeah. And what was it like playing with Ricky Williams?
It was cool. Ricky was he ended up being one of my good friends, and so look at, like when you see like I guess like his personality or what people thought of him on TV, and then actually get in a meeting room with him and get to know him as a person. He's one of the nicest, most, interesting individuals, but at the same time intelligent. Not really into, a lot of stuff outside of playing football. Wasn't interested in the part about, being a celebrity and all of that. He's just a great down-to-earth person. So we got to know each other really well. He was in my wedding, so he and I became pretty good friends.
You got to tell me how the the Wildcat came about.
We had Coach David Lee, who was in Arkansas, with Felix Jones and Derek McFadden and Peyton Chris. And so he actually had introduced it to us. And so we were talking about it, and I was like, heck yeah, like I'll do it. I want to be the quarterback. I never played quarterback on any level. So to get that opportunity on that level, we were all about it. And so we put it in, and, I think we'd explored with it a few times at practice for a couple of weeks, and then going into New England that year, we were 0-2, so we pretty much had to pull out all the stops, and it had success. We enjoyed it, and it ended up working out.
And then I don't know if you probably know that you're the team that you were on with the Dolphins was the last team to win the AFC East besides the Patriots.
Like, I think they said something about that when they were talking about the last team to go into New England and win. So I think I did hear something about that, or I looked at that stat or something, which is crazy to me. What's that, like
11 years now?
10 years, 11 years ago? Like, that's kind of weird.
And you were also selected as a Pro Bowler that year. What did that mean to you?
That meant a lot. Anytime your peers select you for an award, it means more. And so in going through that, it was a great experience to get that honor and to be out there amongst, some of the best in your profession. That was pretty cool, and it makes you want to go back because, you see all these high-level guys that, play the game at a high level, and you get to be a part of that. That was pretty cool.
And then after your career with the Dolphins, you went to the Eagles, and I know you played for San Diego for a couple of years, and you were at Houston. So what was the rest of your career like?
It was a learning experience. Obviously my time going to Philly was a lot different. That was my first time going through and experiencing free agency. So I didn't actually know what I was getting into. So I was just looking for an opportunity to go to the playoffs. Ended up going to Philadelphia, where I thought the team was going to be, pretty good. I thought we'd have a pretty high chance of being in the playoffs because that was a very talented football team. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. So, it was a learning experience, and my role changed drastically. We had a running back, I think everybody knows, LaShawn McCoy, who was really good and talented. So, being behind him, and then I don't think I fit the scheme of what type of offense they was running. So, I had that year experience, and then I went to San Diego, played a little bit more third down stuff behind Ryan Matthews, and, just tried to extend my career, and was just fortunate to still be having that opportunity to be in the NFL still. So, I played, 10 years playing running back, and I think that was, I was just appreciative of every moment and every season that I got to have that experience.
Yeah, you definitely beat the average, which I think is like 2 to 3 years as a running back.
Right. So that was, so it was just, me getting the opportunity to continue to do, what I really enjoyed doing.
Yep. Yeah. And I know we touched on it before, but what else are you doing now? Just post-career?
So outside of, what I was saying, like, working with Auburn, doing, the radio and then the financial professional stuff, really just being a dad and a husband. Like, I really enjoyed that. The family thing is pretty cool. It's a full-time job having kids, but it's probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And, you know, I have a little boy and a little girl. Enjoy spending time with them. My wife, you know, she does an amazing job. So, you know, and that's about it outside of, you know, trying to be a different type of professional. But now, you know, doing the dad thing and doing the family thing.
Yeah. Would you let your son play football?
Absolutely. Like I couldn't tell him not to because, you know, I feel like I've subjected him to being around it. Like even now we go to Auburn, he goes to football games, and then a lot of my buddies, and then at the house there's a lot of Auburn stuff, and then we have, you know, NFL jerseys from guys that, you know, I played with. So he's always around it, and he just naturally seems that he's picked up on it and he likes it. So we'll see what happens. He chose baseball though, or another sport. Either, but, you know, like I definitely won't push him to play it, but you know, if he chooses to, then you know that's his choice.
Yeah, we know that baseball money is different. You ready for some fun questions? We're gonna go from average to savage.
Okay.
What's your favorite song right now?
Oh man, I don't listen to much music. I listen to mostly old school stuff. So, I've been kind of listening to Jay-Z's old Reasonable Doubt
All right.
album.
And what about who would be one player that you'd want to exchange jerseys with that you didn't?
I like to get a Deion Sanders jersey, or if it was somebody that played around the same time, I like Marshawn Lynch.
All right, yeah, definitely. And then what NFL team do you root for now?
I don't really have a team. I mean, I root for the Dolphins when I see them, and then hometown Falcons. So I guess that's the two teams that I probably root for the most.
And then if you didn't play football, what do you think you'd be doing?
If I hadn't played?
Yeah. In the NFL.
I don't know where the course of life would have taken me. I probably would have tried it in baseball.
All right. Did you play baseball in high school?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and could you let the followers know where they can follow you at?
Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Ronnie23Brown. You know, business inquiries. You know, on LinkedIn as well. So pretty much all the social media, but Instagram and Twitter is Ronnie23Brown.
There you go. Yeah, LinkedIn is big now, I think, with athletes.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do next, you know, what kind of transition you want to make.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, again, I appreciate it, and we'll be in touch.
Okay, sounds good.